Go into your closet, shut up. And when you say a closet, it doesn't mean closet, a real closet. Like, I'm in the closet. Go into your closet, he means go within. Closet, he talks about go in your closet. I encourage you to sit in the closet.
If you are politically active on the internet, you probably know who Jesse Lee Peterson is. He is a conservative pastor who made his money as the black guy who's opposed to BLM. And he's also stringently opposed to homosexuality. Take a look.
The spirit of homosexuality is of their father, the devil. And it came from them overreacting to some sort of a situation in life, whether it's from someone messing with them when they were kids, or overreacting to an angry mother, because you become like what you hate. Lesbians and the homosexuals are on drugs and alcohol. They have all type of problems because they've been separated from God. That's why they try to destroy the Christians, destroy the family, destroy men and women of good, because they don't want you to be honest. They want to hide their garbage and let it destroy.
Despite this, about a year ago, this happened.
On his Twitter page, as you can see, he has all of his likes here, and he liked a tweet from Donald Trump where Trump says, "Make America Great Again." And then if you scroll down a little bit more, you see that he liked a tweet from Your Daddy OnlyFans, XXL Boy, where there is a video of part 2 of a collaboration with Sean Boy and Anthony D. And basically this is the video of two men having gay sex, and it is censored, but as you can see, there is one man eating out another man's booty hole.
This, however, blew over after a little bit. Someone decided maybe it was an accident, maybe this was someone else taking care of a social media account. But then, just a couple of days ago, this Catholic group called the Church Militant released a documentary detailing allegations of sexual misconduct and homosexuality for Jesse Lee Peterson. Let's take a look at them.
These stories first came to light when Jesse's former co-host and alleged decade-long gay lover exposed him.
I don't know about you, but those guys look pretty happy together. And honestly, it kind of... No, there's just no explanation for that.
61-year-old Patrick Rooney has known Jesse for nearly 30 years, dating back to roughly 1992.
Everybody know Patrick Rooney, one of the smartest white men on this side of heaven.
Jesse and I talked in the green room, backstage, and right off the bat, he started asking me stuff. Jesse's very forward with his questioning and things like that. So he actually asked me right after that show, are you gay?
After Jesse discovered Rooney's same-sex attraction, his relationship with Jesse was taken to the next level.
And at times he would do stuff where he would grab me and then we'd kind of wrestle around a little bit, and then I'd feel his private parts against me. And he did that more than once, so it wasn't like an accidental thing.
Entertaining these allegations is true. That's really weird, man. Especially for a guy who is explicitly preaching against homosexuality. But it gets way better. It gets way better. Actually, Rooney goes on to describe a very sexual encounter, well, about as sexual as it gets, that he had with Jesse Lee Peterson.
So we were sitting on the bed together, and all of a sudden he turned to me, just looked at me, and he said, "What do you want to do?" I told him what I want to do. I mentioned sex acts, that he knew about, that I had already talked to him about, that I was interested in. And next thing you know, he's ripping his clothes off and coming at me, basically. And I did the same, took my clothes off, and next thing you know, we're fully at it, having, not getting into detail here, but basically full-on sexual act.
Now, if you haven't seen this documentary, you should go watch it, if only for the purely entertainment value, because since it's a very Catholic documentary, they won't talk about genitals, they won't name genitals or sex acts or anything like that, and they look so uncomfortable while they're talking about it. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I love how uncomfortable these religious people are talking about sex. It's really funny. Maybe if they were a little less repressive in the first place, they wouldn't end up with, people doing crazy shit that they preach against. I'm just saying. Maybe repression isn't the best way to go.
That once we did this, I was born again.
That is such a weird, just a weird ritual type of cult sounding weird thing. I know I said weird like 9 times in that sentence, but that's really weird. Also, I just want to take a second to appreciate the narrator of this documentary. He is the perfect little Catholic meatball. Take a look at this and tell me you don't absolutely love every second of it.
It's typical for homo predators to try and cover their tracks using a cornucopia of strategies to shut people up.
Homo predators. Dude, I love the fact that this documentary features a Catholic guy who doesn't understand the irony of sitting here complaining about a homosexual predator who is grooming people and carrying on illicit homosexual relationships, be intimidating people into not saying anything and covering up what happened. Like, you are a Catholic. Isn't that the MO of the Catholic Church? That is what they do. It's what they do, bro. How can you sit here and say something like that? I'll humor you with the testimony of a couple of the alleged victims. Again, so I don't know how true any of this is. I do know there's a couple of these that just sound like fanciful bullshit to me. But the president of the Manosphere stopped by my live chat last night, Anthony Dream Johnson, and says that he has confirmed all of this. It's all true. Apparently, according to him. I haven't seen the evidence, I haven't seen the receipts, but according to him, at least, this is all true.
So then he starts rubbing my thighs, and I'm like, okay, what is he doing? Like, it's kind of crazy. And then he starts rubbing my genital area, and I'm like, what's happening right now? And then he pulls down my pants, and then I'm like, I'm shocked. I'm not saying anything. I'm like, my face is like, whoa, what the hell is happening right now? It went on for a few minutes. He would get up, walk away. I could hear him, I couldn't see him. He'd touch it, get up, walk away, touch it. And I was like, what the hell's going on? So then I opened my eyes, and then I'm like, what just happened?
As somebody who was sexually abused as a child, I understand that this type of thing could be a very valid trauma response. However, as a grown man, if another grown man was fondling my junk, I'd probably kick him in the teeth. So, I mean, this one's tough, man. Like, the level of brainwashed you'd have to be for this to happen. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but the level of brainwashed you'd have to be, holy Moses.
Another alleged victim was Trayvon Chapman, who in 2015 told his friend, now 43-year-old Armand Martikian, that Jesse molested him.
Well, the first thing came out of his mouth, that Jesse's homosexual. And I say, you can't be saying this, like, he's all against it. He's a, straight conservative man who, this is like, what you're saying is bizarre, doesn't make sense. But at the same time, it kind of struck me as a truth. What this guy was saying, he was explaining the incidents, like certain acts that they would do.
Okay, so this guy, his testimony struck me as completely unbelievable. The way that he told this story, and then when he went and he was like, then retroactively I thought back to my interactions with Peterson, and then, oh my god, there was all of these instances. So just his body language, never making eye contact, never, looking up from the ground, never going into any kind of detail. Now look, again, I understand that trauma is different for everybody, but if you're somebody who's going to do an expose of this kind, show your face, and you know how big this is going to be, I can't see somebody acting the way he's acting. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying the way that this is constructed, it's just, man, it feels sketchy to me, bro.
There I saw Jesse was sitting in the bed, and while James Haig was wrapped around bed sheets, completely around like a burrito with his head sticking out. And Jesse was like embracing him and hugging him and stuff, and then kissing him on the forehead.
So apparently a different guy, one who Jesse Peterson has a restraining order against, has been following him around for a while, trying to get him to speak on this topic. Here's a quick video, and I just want to use this as a reminder for the type of person who is putting this video together. It's a very much jealousy and spite, it feels like, from the church militant and these other people that are with them. Now, again, I'm not invalidating the victims. I don't know if anything actually happened. If it did, that sucks. I'm fully, again, I was sexually abused for over a decade. I understand what that does to a person. But I just want you to look at the caliber of person that is, working in these circles. Because, my God.
Oh, that's nice. He wants me to tell them how I was sleeping with my brother's wife. That's fine. But Jesse, why will you not speak on your homosexual behaviors?
So you were sleeping with your brother's wife, but that's okay because I was straight, and you're mad at him because he's a homosexual. Now look, I kind of expect this from people like Jesse Lee Peterson. He is a pastor who talks about politics. When you have a pastor that does politically driven talks, he's got the ear of the religious community and he knows how to work them. I see them as a snake oil salesman for the most part. All his donations and the millions of dollars that he has rolling in. Look, St. Paul in the Bible said, "Be not a burden unto the brethren," and he's being a burden unto the brethren, right? It's funny to me if this is true, but at the same time, it's frustrating because you think of all those lost young men who idolize Jesse Lee Peterson. It's the same thing. It's Jack Murphy all over again. It's hilarious what happened to Jack Murphy, but think of those young men that were jaded and hurt by what he did, and the same for Jesse Lee Peterson if this is true.
He wanted to see if I was willing to have a homosexual relationship with him, of course, because that's what he was all about. He was about putting out feelers there and seeing who he could have sex with. And it didn't work with me because I had not been molested as a boy. And so eventually I told him, "Look, Jesse, I'm just an angry guy and I don't like these long hugs."
This is one of the things that really pisses me off about Jesse Lee Peterson and his ilk, including Crackhead McGee here. They seem to think that if you were abused as a kid, it turns you gay. And the one thing that happens to make you gay is either you're mad at your mom or you were abused as a kid. There's nothing else. That's the only thing they can figure out. Look, I was abused sexually for over a decade as a child. Not gay. I know other people. I'll just say that. Other people were abused for a very long time. They're not gay. Now, it does mess with you psychologically. It does a lot of things to you. But it doesn't make you gay. And this guy, he's kind of just the exact thing that's a problem with figuring out where Christianity stands with homosexuality, because the only lens they can see it through is that is a damaged, broken person. And I hate that. That's not right, and it's not true. So there needs to be a better way for for people who are gay and for Christians to interface with one another. And this ain't it. So look, I don't know if these allegations are true or not. Again, the Manosphere guys say that they are true. All of this is true. If so, he totally Jack Murphy'd himself, and I feel bad for all the young men who went to him for guidance and were abused and groomed. I also feel bad for all the people that bought into his bullshit. All of the people that he, sat and vehemently preached against homosexuality for so long to, who were just like, okay, whatever Pastor Peterson says is right. And then, of course, this happens, and, what do? It messes with you when your role models do something like this. So whether it's true or not, it's still a really messy situation for him, and I think he's going to have to address it. You can follow me on Twitter at SeattleIJ. Like, comment, subscribe. Please subscribe and like this video. Share your thoughts in the comments section, and I will see you next time.